everyone see the slideshow?
Yes.
It should say career planning and development. All right, perfect. So as Tyrone said, my name is Aaron Miller. I am an assistant director in career planning and development. I like to hear that you guys are already working on your LinkedIn profiles, so you're off to a pretty good start. If you are already worrying about those things, that's wonderful. We highly recommend getting that set up before you explore any avenues for an internship, a job, maybe meeting with our office. Hopefully you all have a resume as well, and if you don't, I'm going to show you some resources we have to create one, but also how to improve it, and what we do in our department as far as resources for you. If you guys have any questions as we go along, I have a slideshow I'm going to go through, but if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to pipe in and stop me. Happy to answer any questions. I'll also answer questions at the end if you have any. So feel free to put those in the chat or go ahead and fire them off whenever they come to your mind. I am in the Marietta campus is where my primary office is. We actually have an office at Marietta and at the Kennesaw campus. At the Marietta campus, we are at the bottom floor of the Wilson Student Center. Across from Chick-fil-A is where we always tell everyone, and they know that's where we're located as soon as we say that. Over at the Kennesaw campus, we're at the Academic Learning Center on the third floor, and you'll see a good handful of us that work at both. I'm primarily over at Marietta, but I'm at Kennesaw. It seems like quite a bit this fall as well. So today we're going to go over a few things, but mostly I want to introduce you to our services and make it known what we're here for. And if any of you have already met with us, hopefully you've done a meeting on Handshake, which I'll talk about a little bit today, or you've come in person to one of our offices. So these are the three primary things we want you to understand that we provide for you as a student, and it's to explore, prepare, and connect. And your exploration is probably where you're at if you're early on in your college career, figuring out exactly what you want to study, how it might relate to a long-term job, how it might relate to a long-term career goal. Maybe it's going to graduate school for some of you, or staying in school a really long time. Right now, we want you to have that mindset of exploring what's right for you. And the preparation part would be the documentation that we can help you build, maybe the conversations we have with you as well to get you involved on campus, or to meet people on campus, whether that be faculty, staff, or other students. And then the connection piece with those people, or the connection piece with our career fairs or our internship postings that we have in Handshake. So I'm going to show you a little bit of Handshake at the end today too, and walk you through a few things that I think you should be aware of. So career planning is a process, and we're here to help you. So you'll see on our website, if you look, I'll show you where you can find all of our contact information, but when you look on our website, you have a dedicated career advisor to your major. So if you are majoring in something primarily at the Marietta campus, so engineering, computer science, or architecture, construction management, your career and internship advisor would be either me, Shivani Patel, or Dial Martin, as we work primarily at the Marietta campus. Now, if you have a major that's over at the primarily the Kennesaw campus, most likely your dedicated career advisor is over there. And so just know that you have an individual dedicated directly to what you're studying and is knowledgeable about your area. So that might be knowledgeable about what internships exist, or what companies are at our fairs that look for your majors, or maybe some skills or classes that you want to take as your electives to help prepare you for a certain career path. And I'm thinking any of you interested in medical school or pharmacy school or anything possibly get internship credit, and how to get experience to go on your resume as you move forward. So start exploring now. This is a great class for that. I'm sure if you're making LinkedIn profiles, you can also look around on there to see what things interest you as far as job postings. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I think it helps grow your connections just by adding people on there that are connected to the school or connected to the programs that you're in. So I think that's a great tool you're already using. It's about developing skills and then also career competencies. So no matter what your major is, these are the skills that many of you would highlight on a resume that employers want to see. And some of those things come naturally to some of you, and some of those that you might be sitting there thinking, wow, that's something I'm okay at, but maybe I could improve on it. And think about which one of these things that you need to grow in, because these are the things that internship sites or job sites are going to ask of you. Now, I also see students a lot come in and they have a job as they're going to school, and they'll talk about, well, this job is unrelated to what I'm studying, so how do I showcase that? Well, I tell those students that your job isn't unrelated. Most jobs have competencies in organization or in communication or in taking initiative or developing the things you see here on the screen, such as leadership or professionalism. You can highlight these skills on your resume from any of the jobs or experiences you've had. So I do want you to start thinking about this as you create your resume or as you start approaching career planning on our campus. So these are our services that we cover. It's way more advanced and specific once you get into these areas, but if you take anything away from me talking to you today, take away that these are the things that our office offers you. And some of these things you might not run into until you are about to graduate, or you think, well, I didn't think about this until now. And some of those things are like interview coaching, right? And prep. We can do mock interviews on in our office. Now, as a freshman or sophomore, you can certainly come in and have practice with that, but we tend to see outgoing seniors who are about to jump into the job application process heavily take advantage of our interview coaching and mock interviews. So you'll see that one there. Probably the number one thing that we do as far as one-on-one appointments with students is going to be resume and cover letter reviews. So we have students come in. You can do these appointments virtually, or you can do them in person. Last semester, about 75% of our appointments were virtual. So all of you are in a virtual class. So you probably are getting comfortable with that. So understand that we're happy to be with you either way. We do block in resumes next Monday, actually, before our All Majors Fair. So if you are interested in a career fair or just seeing what that is like, I'll show you that at the end today too. So when a student comes in and they don't have a resume, we do introduce them to the resources that we do have. We do have a guidebook that has a resume checklist. It has a lot of information about starting a resume, and then also keywords to include depending on how you want to market yourself. And so that guidebook is also on our webpage, but you can pick one of those up at either of our office locations too. Now, if you do come in and you have a draft of your resume already done, you can bring that in a physical copy, and we can edit it and go through it together, or whoever your career and internship advisor is. If you have it on just online, or if you have it uploaded to Handshake, we can also pull it up and give you feedback that way. So we're very flexible in how we can serve you in those resume appointments. You'll see the third one here is a very common appointment type too, and that's internship guidance. So depending on your major, there's internship requirements that may exist in your degree program, or there's internship options, right? So some degrees you have to do an internship, and then some you don't. But in the ones you don't, in most of them, they do have an option for you to take advantage of getting an internship for credit. We also walk you through what that would look like. Now, sometimes there's a minimum number of credits you have to have completed, or a minimum GPA, or you may have to have some courses completed before you can take the internship in your major. But we're always happy to talk you through your options with those two. And then for those of you who are wondering about your major, look down at the bottom there, the career exploration. We have 2 dedicated career exploration advisors too that will talk to you about the different majors that we have on our campus, but also if you're considering changing your major early on, they would be great people to just have a conversation with and talk about how that might impact your long-term career goals. And if you don't know what your career goals are either, those are great avenues to have those conversations about what exists out there or what areas you might be interested in. The bottom right is going to be our online job postings on Handshake. So you'll hear me talk about Handshake throughout this presentation. I'll show you Handshake at the end as well. If you do have resumes, you can start uploading those to Handshake too. But when you hear the word Handshake, that is our job board. So if a company or an organization contacts our department, wants to reach out to Kennesaw State students to hire you as part-time or full-time or as an intern, we will refer them to Handshake for their posting. You should already have an account in Handshake, even if you haven't logged in. It's connected to your student account. And so that might be something to do while you're sitting there today as I'm going through this. See if you can log into Handshake as well. The other thing I'll show you is going to be our webpage, and this is what it looks like. I will show you the tabs here in a second, but a lot of the things on here I'm going to cover. So we have some tools if you are researching a major. So if you're lost on a major, that U-Science, if you look at the bottom right, the U-Science Career Discovery tool is what you're probably going to want to look into with a career exploration advisor. And some of you, if you've confirmed your major and you know it's the one you want, you can still take the U-Science Discovery tool and discover different possible electives that you could take, or maybe you want to consider a minor or other classes that might interest you to prepare you for a certain career field. So I think if you like assessments, if any of you are majoring in psychology or some of those types of liberal arts majors where assessments are heavy, that might be of interest to you. I'm also going to show you today where you can make an appointment. You see the bottom down there, the student resources. I'm going to show you that here in a second too. So if you're exploring, this is where you might be wondering, is this major that I'm in right for me? Or if you don't have a major, what can I do with specific majors? And I think going through these programs that we have, and we have these links on our website, these are things that I would recommend meeting with a career and internship advisor about first, and going through with someone. Believe it or not, there's so many jobs out there that I don't even know exist, but I see them all the time. I'm going through them with students in my office, which is really a fun part about this job for me, is I learned so much about companies and jobs in the Atlanta area that I never even heard of. And it happens just about every week for me. So you can discover things that you don't know exist that companies will hire as far as a major or what they expect out of you in your preparation as a student. And so I'm going to show you some of that today too. Handshake is going to be our job board, so I guess that's the big takeaway today too. If you do anything from this presentation, I want you to log into Handshake and see if it works for you today. They're going to have you fill out a profile once you get in there as well. So if you're logging in right now to it and just checking it out, they're going to ask you questions of things that you might be interested in. You'll also want to update your resume in there if you haven't already put one in there. That be something for you to do. And then also update your major if that needs updating, along with your level. So if you're all freshmen in this class, you would put freshman on there if it's not updated. So I have seen that in Handshake, but if you get on there now, most of yours should be correct. But if it's not, make sure to update all that information. Employers can also, if you check a certain setting in Handshake, employers can also seek out your resume. So if you have some experience and you have a specific major, and you have that on Handshake, an employer, if you check the setting that they can search out your resume, they can send you a message right on there and encourage you to apply or encourage you to go to a career fair to have a conversation with them. And I think that part's pretty cool, and it allows you to connect directly with employers as undergrad students. And I think the earlier you can do that, the better you're going to be as far as being marketable, even with just a bachelor's degree as you start looking at jobs upon graduation. So seeking out internships beforehand is something I highly recommend. I had a freshman student last week ask me, when should I start looking for internships? And I said, the moment you ask that question is when you should start looking for internships. And so if you are thinking about something for next summer, let's say, if you don't have a summer job yet, you can start looking for an internship for next summer right now. Now, can you get credit for that or not? That's up to your academic department, and it's up to basically your major. So even if you can't get credit and you can start gaining experiences, it's only going to serve you. Other small things that we will recommend is getting involved on campus, right? To put that on your resume. You can also seek out on-campus jobs in Handshake. And I'm going to show you that here today too. So for any of you who want to make an appointment, you certainly can do that today. We have a QR code here. I believe it works, so try that out. You can also sign up through Handshake as well, where I would recommend going to. The reason for that is if you go into Handshake, you can get connected directly to your advisor, and you can see what available times they have on their calendars. And you'll notice, like next Tuesday, Wednesday, there won't be any availability because we are all at the career fair assisting and putting that on for the campus. So you'll notice that certain days will be blocked off, but if we're not doing a career fair, most days there's going to be options for you. What I tell students is the busy parts of the semester, you generally will have to wait about a week or so to get an appointment. So if you went in there and looked for my name, you could schedule something, but it might not be for another week or so. Now, if you do want to meet with us during the summer, usually you can get in right away, right? So our slower months are in June and July and August. So if you do want to make use of us while you are in the summer outside of your fall and spring semester, I highly recommend that because we can help you almost immediately. There's also a phone number. So if you call our phone number, we have typical office hours 8 to 5. If you call between those hours, you can make an appointment. Someone will schedule that for you who answers the phone. So there's the appointments. I'm going to show you this link in a second. We do have drop-in hours on Thursdays. The time is actually 9. We've extended it. It's actually 9 to 12. They're hoteling hours. So look that up as well, or contact your advisor. So my hoteling hours, I'm over in the construction management building, and it's every Thursdays 9 to noon for me. But we actually expanded those this semester. And so we also have drop-ins every Monday before the career fair. So next week we have a career fair that's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. On Monday, you can stop into either one of our offices between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a walk-in appointment. And typically those are resume checks. We're checking resumes for students to before they prepare for the fair, and then they head to the fair on Tuesday. I'll show you our workshops as well in Handshake. Any questions before we jump into the Handshake? I was going to open the web browser and just walk you through some things I want you to see, but any questions before that?
handshake. Some students aren't able to come in. They're not in Georgia, basically, or, in the area. So how can they schedule those virtual appointments with you all?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm about to share my screen on Handshake. I'll walk you right through where you can do that. If you called if you call in, you can also schedule a virtual appointment. Just let the person, it's usually a student worker at the desk, let them know that you want a virtual appointment, and then they can make that. The virtual appointments are done directly in Handshake too. So when you make that appointment, just make sure you tell them that you want virtual, and then on Handshake I can show you that in a second too. Any other questions? Great question. The other thing is, I saw you made another comment in there. If you just emailed, like, let's say you found my email and you just sent me an email and you told me your major, I would just put you in contact directly with whoever your career and internship advisor is too. So I've told students too, like I met someone at the STEM fair who had never met with me, and he sent me his resume after the fair and asked me for feedback. And I told him his resume looked great. I gave him these two little things to change, and he didn't even make an appointment. But we just emailed back and forth a couple of questions. So if you do have any sort of issue, just email me or email your career advisor. We can get you into contact with the right person immediately. So, any other questions?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Do all workplaces need both resume and cover letter or just resume?
That's a great question. So you're going to see both when you start applying to internship or jobs. A cover letter can be optional if they don't require it. And so does it hurt you to write one? I would say no. The worst that can happen if you do write a thoughtful cover letter, and we will walk you through how to do that if you need assistance. The worst thing they can do is just not read it. But if they do require a cover letter, and I know like Kennesaw State, when we have career and internship advisors apply, we require a cover letter. Guess what happens to all the applications that don't have one? We don't look at them, right? So if you notice, and it's really important on the job description to notice the details. If you notice that they require it, you 100% need to write one. If they don't require it, and it's something you feel like you would be a great fit for, and you want to explain your preparation and your experience further beyond your resume, or let's say someone referred you, a cover letter is a great idea. And there's more and more places that are saying don't write them too. So pay attention to the details. I've seen a few postings lately that say don't submit a cover letter. So follow the directions and pay real close attention to the job posting when the time comes. But I think it always helps to have one. It can't hurt to write one. Good question. Other questions?
Does a cover letter just jot down what my resume already had covered, or is cover letter can it introduce something that is not on resume?
Yeah, so what you want in a cover letter is to get new information. So you want to connect your resume to the job description the best you can. And the best use of a cover letter, I think, is let's say you go to the career fair next week, and you go meet a recruiter. And let's say I'm the recruiter. My name's Aaron Miller. I'm the recruiter. And I have a great conversation with you at the fair, and you notice a posting in the future, and you've met me, and I already know you. When you're writing them a cover letter, you wouldn't include on a resume that you met me at the fair. But in a cover letter, you can go into that detail and say, I spoke with Aaron at the fair about your internship program, and we had a great conversation, and it piqued my interest. And here's why it piqued my interest. That's what you can go into detail in on a cover letter. But you can also go into why you chose major, or what made you pursue this career opportunity. If someone referred you, you can also mention that. So there's a lot more detail you can go in paragraph form that you wouldn't include on your resume. And if you ever want to make an appointment to go over the details of your resume, like what you wouldn't include there that you might in a cover letter, bring a resume in and discuss some of that with your career advisor, because I think elaborating on some of those things in paragraph form is what you're doing on a cover letter. And just like with the resume, it's good to have one. Once you write the first one, they get easier and easier over time. And it's the same thing with the resume and the cover letter on that. Other questions? I'm going to share my screen with the handshake. Student view. So this is what you would see if you logged into Handshake. So feel free to do it now as you're sitting there. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to talk a little bit about our website resources first, then I'm going to jump into what I want you to know in Handshake. So in this other window, I have our career planning and development website. It's kennesaw.edu/careers. If you type in careers.kennesaw.edu, it'll also show up. When you scroll down, the other thing I want you to take note of is the Students tab here. So I'm going to click on that. You can schedule a career advising appointment there. I gave you that information I put into the slide. There's also that career prep guidebook. And I'm going to pop that open just for a second to show you what that looks like. We have paper copies of this in our office. So if you need the actual book, please come by. This has the checklist. And I'm going to scroll down right to it about what you should include in a resume. So if you don't have a resume yet, this gives you ideas of what to include and what not to include. The other thing, based on our questions we just had on the cover letter, we have cover letter rules and tips and how you want to format that. Typically, there's going to be the one body paragraph or two body paragraphs. And then we provide an example of what a cover letter might look like in here too. So just know that that's there for you. And then we have these available in our office if you want to pick one of these guidebooks up. The other thing I'll show you here is the resume and cover letter resources link. When you click on that, you can see different resume samples based on majors. The one I work with a lot is the engineering students, so if any of you are engineering students, I look at this one just about every single day. I'll click on it. It gives you an example of what a resume, as a college student, you might want yours to be patterned like, right? Notice the contact information. Notice the objective if you have one, the education section, the bolds, the years that you put your graduation year there, the years you've worked. You'll put the month and the year, and then you'll notice different sections. So you can have a project section, a skills section. You can have an experience section. So it gives you just an idea of what you want to shoot for. And there's a bunch of different examples on there too. So if you're ever interested in those, just know that that's there too. All right, so I'm going to go over to Handshake now. Your screen should look like this when you log in. If you want to upload your resume, and if you don't have one yet, make an appointment with us. We're happy to meet with you about that. But you're going to go to My Documents to upload your resume. And when you do that, you submit it there. Our department will look at your resume. We'll either accept it or reject it. If we reject your resume, we give you feedback on what you need to change to get it accepted. And so once it's accepted, you can then start applying to internships and jobs in Handshake. Those of you looking for an appointment, you can click on the Career Center, and it'll go to this and it'll be based on your major. So if you go in and click schedule new appointment, it's not going to let me do it, but you are going to be able to choose an appointment type with your advisor, and it'll be attached to your major. The other thing we do is we have a professional headshot photo booth. So I know you guys are talking about LinkedIn already. If you need a professional headshot, we have photo booths on both campuses, and you're welcome to just walk in at our regular business hours, 8 to 5, to use those. You do have to check in at the desk with your student ID, so just bring your student ID, and you'll tap in to use the photo booth. But that's open on either campus to all students. So please come by if you want a professional headshot. It's actually a pretty cool setup. We just got those photo booths at the end of last year. So that is where you would schedule an appointment. The other thing I'm going to show you is the jobs tab. And if you click on that, that's where you can search for an internship, a full-time job or a part-time job. And you'll see how many are in there. Now, let's say you wanted to do it just by location. You can do it, let's put in Kennesaw, Georgia. It's going to put a distance radius that you can play around with as far as the parameters. Once you do that, you can see positions over here on the left-hand side. Now, there's over 2,000 just based on that location. So I want you to click on the all filters and get used to using that. One thing I'm going to show you today, if any of you need a job or you're thinking about a job on campus, you could just click on campus jobs, show results. There's 31 postings in there, and you can see here's what a job posting would look like, right? This one's an inventory management, a student assistant role. And you can see what the pay is, what the application deadline is, when it was posted. And so if you go over here to relevance as well, you can do a date posted filter and see which jobs were most recently posted. It'll have that fresh red bar next to it. So if you're looking at this as well, if you have a resume in Handshake already approved, all you need to do is hit quick apply, and it attaches your resume, and you can click submit application, and then it'll send your resume to that job posting. So that's the benefit of meeting with us and getting your resume already approved. It's approved, and it can automatically be sent to people really quickly to apply to jobs. This is the check mark you would make as well to make your resume visible on your profile. So that's if you want employers to be able to see your resume. You can also do filters for internships as well. So if you're just looking for an internship in the area, you can also type in keywords. There's plenty of those in the Kennesaw area, as you can see. But go through those, see what's out there too, even if you're not looking for one right away. See what internships are offered, see what the pay is. Look when this one is. It's going to be next June, so this is a next summer internship. And they want everyone to apply by October 31st, right? So if you wanted this role for next summer, you could apply to it. Now, you may have to meet certain requirements. That's also another thing you want to practice. So what would you need to do next summer? It would be 40 hours, it looks like. It looks like this might be more business-oriented. Let's see what it says. It's paid. Qualification. This is what I want you guys to get practice looking at, to know what kind of skills do you want to develop and what you might need to do to eventually apply to these types of roles. That is the job board in a very quick overview. But look at the filters and see which ones you want to look at. You can also do on-site, remote, as far as filters for part-time, full-time. Those are the main ones that I use. The events is where you're going to see our job fair. We do have one next week, so if any of you are interested, come to the job fair at the Kennesaw campus. I'm going to click on career fairs at our school. It's going to be next Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to click on that here. And it's 11 to 3 on both days. The really cool thing for all of you is if you have an interest in a company, you can click on the all employers and see who's going to be here on what day. That way, if you go into the fair and you just want to talk to one company or two companies, to, know what booth they're going to be at, and head right there. So we put all of the companies in here, and they will show. So let's look at ADP. They're one of our partners with our department. You can see if you open up what they're looking for. They're looking for jobs and interns, and it looks like full-time with these major groups, right? And you can also narrow down your school year. So if you're a freshman, you can go in and see who's hiring freshmen as well by checking the box here. And most of the ones who have freshmen, they'll be open to hiring anyone. But when you click on that, you'll still see companies that are open to talking to freshmen. And if you look at it, you'll see full-time, part-time, job, internship. Looks like they're hiring people right now. So you can see some companies that would be happy to chat with you about a potential opportunity. So if you go in and click join event, you can see all of these things. So that's the quick overview of Handshake. There's way more to it as well. So if you have any detail-oriented things you want to discuss about Handshake, make an appointment with your career and internship advisor. I'm going to show you where you can find our contact information on our page as well. So go back to our home page and click on Contact Us. And if you scroll down, you will see all of our advising staff here. So there I'm an assistant director. So you'll see my name there. My phone number and email would be listed there. Most of you would have a dedicated career and internship advisor directly to your major. If you are in exploration and figuring out what you want to do and you want to talk to a career exploration advisor, Danielle Sands and Tanya Rios would be the two that you would speak with. So if you are debating what you want to do, or you feel like you're in between majors, or you feel a little lost, those are the two folks that you'll want to speak with. So I tried to cover a lot in a short amount of time. Any questions on any of this that you have?
There are two from me in the chat.
Let me pop it open here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the starting salaries on the specific majors. That would be something to check with the academic departments on. I think we would have more information about employment. We have a first destination survey we send out to students. So it's more sent to all majors who just graduated. And we try and get information about their salary, about where they're working, if they did an internship beforehand. Those stats we do have. I don't think we have the psychology major specific ones. Question is something you do as an undergrad student, or you can do it after too. I just had a student who is applying to an internship, but they're graduating in December. Now, why would they do that, right? Why would someone get an internship after they graduate? Well, it's a company he really wants to work for. So he's going to get paid. He's going to start the internship, but he's going to get his foot in the door potentially at the internship beyond graduation. But I highly recommend, as an undergraduate student, to do it while you're here, because you could potentially get academic credit for the internship, but you can also have something directly on your resume when you go to look for your job at graduation, or get into graduate school at graduation. You can start at that point to speak about that experience. So I definitely recommend it. And then about your self-employed jobs, there's ways to highlight that too on a resume. We do that all the time with students. So come on in, we'll talk about that too.
All right, are there any other questions for Aaron right now? All great questions that we had so far. I will say the statistics of majors and starting salaries. I graduated from the University of Georgia. They email me all the time trying to figure out, what I'm doing in my career now, how much I make. I never answer that question. And so I will say that's a little flawed if people respond. But all good information that their career services department tries to get out of recent graduates. So
Yeah, and I graduated from Michigan State University. They call me too, and they want money from me too.
Yeah,
so you're gonna get that too.
Yeah. How are you doing? What's your major? I mean, what are you doing now? How much you making? Also, can you make a donation? No, I can't do any of that.
Yeah, I tell them I work in education.
All right. Well, thank you, Aaron, so much. We definitely appreciate all this information, great information that you have here. I will send out the presentation that you shared with me. I'll send that in just a moment to the group. So if you all have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can direct you to Aaron or reach directly out to Aaron and his team, and they'll be able to assist. While we were talking just now, I did put in D2L 2 events for you all. One is directly for STEM majors. It's the Goldwater Scholarship information. And so if you log into D2L, you'll see the information. That event is taking place this Friday. So if you're interested in doing that for a research project, please make sure you go to that event on Friday. And then next week, we are having an info session about studying abroad in Ireland and the UK. That is next Tuesday on the Kennesaw campus. And so, so to all majors, if you're interested in doing any type of study abroad, we have 2 opportunities coming up, Ireland and UK, great locations. So make sure you pay attention. But those 2 flyers I just dropped in D2L, and so you should be able to see those. All right, no other questions. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Once again, Aaron, thank you so much.
Aaron?
And I'll see you all next Wednesday.
Thank you, everyone.
Aaron, are you there?